On August 3rd, 1924, Berlin welcomed an envoy from a nation it was not unfamiliar with. Only 6 years earlier, Turks and Germans had fought shoulder to shoulder in a war they both lost. And, in its aftermath, both nations were handed heavy peace treaties. For the Turks, it was the Treaty of Sèvres. For the Germans, the Treaty of Versailles. While the Turks, under the leadership of Mustafa Kemal Pasha, tore the Treaty of Sèvres to pieces. The Germans had accepted Versailles. Mustafa Kemal, even when the Sultan of the country, Vahdettin, had aligned with the occupying British forces and surrendered, refused to approve the occupation of his homeland. He defied the Sultan and organized national resistance. In fact, the Sultan even issued an execution order against him. Mustafa Kemal expressed his stance to U.S. Major General James Harbord with the following words: "Rather than be doomed to a slow and degrading death like a bird caught in the claws of imperialists, we prefer to die fighting as the sons of our fathers." These words and actions of Mustafa Kemal attracted the attention of German nationalists. In fact, they even stirred anger among some. "Why don't we have a leader like Mustafa Kemal?" they asked. In 1924, one of Mustafa Kemal's most trusted men, Kemalettin Sami Pasha, arrived in Berlin. He had smuggled weapons to Mustafa Kemal from Sultan Vahdettin's Istanbul. He had fought in the battles of İnönü, Sakarya, and the Great Offensive. He had earned the title of Pasha, a rank given only to the highest commanders. He had also served as a member of parliament before being appointed as ambassador to Berlin. This is why the German nationalists showed more interest in him than any other envoy. He was generally well liked in Germany and played a key role in fostering strong relations between the two countries. In 1933, when Adolf Hitler came to power in Germany, it marked a major turning point, not just for Turkey, but for the entire world. Many events began to be seen as either before Hitler or after Hitler. Hitler had closely followed the Turkish national struggle under Mustafa Kemal's leadership. In fact, he was among those who had questioned, why couldn't we resist like Turkey did? Turkey's success always served as an example for Hitler. For this reason, his approach toward the Turkish ambassador was notably positive. A Nazi newspaper introduced Kemalettin Sami Pasha with the following words in an interview: "The ambassador and general is one of the most beloved figures in diplomatic circles and high society. As the representative of a nation that fought alongside German soldiers on European and Asian battlefields in loyal brotherhood, he has rendered great service in strengthening the bonds of friendship between Turkey and Germany." Kemalettin Sami Pasha described his first meeting with Hitler in these words: "I entered the chancellery with tremendous ceremony and interest. I had once visited the emperor during the First World War, but this reception was much stronger. The foreign minister welcomed me at the door. After waiting a short while in the lounge, Hitler himself came to invite me into his office. After exchanging a few formalities, I said, 'I would like to speak to you not as an ambassador, but as a friend.' Hitler replied, 'I would be most pleased.' Hitler spoke with Kemalettin Sami Pasha, not as an ambassador, but as a friend. They exchanged views on world politics and the possibility of war. At the end of the meeting, Hitler said, 'Our relations with Turkey are strong, forged in old camaraderie, and empowered by the new Turkish Revolution. Please convey my greetings and respects to Mustafa Kemal Pasha.' The 10th anniversary of the Republic of Turkey coincided with Hitler's rise to power in Germany. Therefore, the celebrations in Berlin were far more splendid than in other Turkish embassies. Hitler specially sent an honor guard to the Turkish embassy. Accompanied by a military band, parades were held. Kemalettin Sami Pasha attended the ceremony and saluted the soldiers lined along the road. 2 German veterans who had fought in Turkey stood guard in front of the embassy with their medals on for an entire day. Vice Chancellor von Papen, Foreign Minister von Neurath, other ministers, ambassadors, military officers, artists, and members of the press all took part in the ceremonies held throughout the day. Von Papen gave the following speech: "The German nation, a friend of the Turkish nation, knows very well today that the honor of a nation cannot be taken away by signatures forced under duress. No agreement that violates the fundamental principles of an independent nation can ever be imposed. The German nation celebrates this happy day with great interest. No other people know better than the Germans the noble qualities of the heroic Turkish nation and the sacrifices it has made throughout history to sustain its existence. In a country once poor and full of despair, the energies revived by the great leader of the new Turkey are admired by none more than the Germans. From the racial value of the Turkish nation, a universal historical consciousness has emerged. Turkey's progress in science and civilization is remarkable. National Socialism, in its path toward unity at home and peace abroad, will find in Turkey a valuable partner. German newspapers and radio stations gave great attention to the celebrations as well. For 3 days, German radio aired the following programs. October 29th, 1933, Nizamettin Ali Bey, 10 years of Turkey as a national state. October 30th, 1933, Dagobert von Mikush, State Leader Mustafa Kemal Pasha. October 31st, 1933, Nizamettin Ali Bey, the philosophical meaning of the Turkish Revolution. Kemalettin Sami Pasha had long suffered from severe health issues due to wounds he received in battle and a traffic accident 2 years earlier. Before he left Istanbul, Mustafa Kemal Pasha had personally warned him to be mindful of his health. Yet on April 12, 1934, he suddenly experienced severe stomach pain and underwent surgery. Despite all efforts, he could not be saved. His funeral was held at the Turkish cemetery in Berlin. His coffin was draped with a Turkish flag and adorned with flowers. High-ranking officials from across Germany, military and navy representatives, Nazi stormtroopers, and foreign ambassadors attended the funeral. Nazi guards stood in 2 rows along the route from the embassy to the station. A full military unit escorted the procession. At the station, an infantry platoon fired a 3-gun salute. At Hitler's personal request, an official state funeral was held. Speaking on behalf of the German government, the foreign minister said, "With this wreath I place on behalf of the German government, my heart is in mourning. The death of the Pasha has deeply shaken the German nation. In him we salute a comrade in arms, a seasoned diplomat, and the distinguished representative of a heroic nation. We will never forget his efforts in deepening the friendship between the German government and people and Turkey." And that brings us to the end of another video. If you'd like to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel.